One of the ways that McKinley Railway is evolving is developing the freight operations side of the railway. Hitherto it's been mainly a passenger railway where trains run into the stations, get turned round and go out again. Well, David wants to evolve that, and he wants to have the freight a much more prominent operation. Here we have Manchester with its freight operation, and over here we have Portarlington, which is currently a freight operation, but in the evolution of the railway will be evolved into additional things as well. And on the other side of the screen there we've got Birmingham. Now each of these places could have a different function for freight operation. Now here in Manchester we have the brewery, or the representation of the brewery. That is demanding grain wagons, it is demanding vent wagons, it's demanding a whole load of traffic. Then over here we've got the general freight yard, and if you look down here you'll see that we've got container wagons that need to be placed against the crane. We have ordinary vent vans that need to be put into the goods shed there, and oh dear, we've got some grain wagons here that need to be put elsewhere. And we've got the ubiquitous coal staves, because in these days, of course, we burnt an awful lot of coal. So these areas demand an awful lot of traffic that the railway has to supply. Over in Birmingham, there is the granary, and there is also another factory area over at the other side. So we have to devise a way of supplying these different areas. Everything on the railway needs to have a purpose. It just didn't happen by accident. The railway was there to make money, and it made money by moving goods around. To develop the freight area in the new bit of the railway, David has devised that there's going to be 3 new locations. First of all, Sheffield, which is going to be a marshalling yard, and 2 entirely new, mainly freight areas, which are going to be Halifax and Wakefield. Well, here we are in Sheffield, and as you can see, there isn't very much three-dimensionally that you can actually see. Sheffield, in terms of its design, is now at I think its full size design stage, ready for construction once the baseboards are completed. So here we are, here are the 3 arrival and departure roads. This is the location where the trains will be broken up and assembled. Over here we have Yard D, where the wagons will be sorted for trains departing away from the camera. Over here we have Yard C, where wagons will be sorted for trains departing towards the camera. Inevitably, there's going to be need for exchange between Yard C and Yard D. And in the centre here, we have an exchange road where wagons could be placed. Now, to work this yard, we think it's going to take a yard manager and at least 2 operators, because it's going to be a very busy place. Previously, I was saying that all movements on the railway are for a purpose, and the purpose that happens for the movements within here is that trains come in so that the wagons can be sorted for different destinations. Destinations where trains will depart from here will include Halifax, will include Wakefield, will include Manchester, will include Birmingham, may include London, plus some other spoof destinations, which in essence will be the storage yards, but to give the operators some variety of work. So how do we create purpose? Well, we can create purpose by using a waybill. Now, many of you watching this will be familiar with the waybill system, where individual wagons are identified, where they've come from is identified, and where they're heading to is also identified. And the operator's job is to make sure those wagons get onto the right trains at the right time. That has the advantage that the operators actually know what they're doing. They are seeing the purpose of their activities. It has a disadvantage, though, that it is a rigid system. Once you've set up a paper-based system, it's got to work like that every time, and that can become boring. Now, here on McKinley, we're going to be trying something new. What we're aiming to do is have a far more flexible system using computers. On the paper here, you can probably see a number of little circles with the letters RFID written in them. This is a device that can recognise different kinds of wagons and tell the operators which road to put those wagons in for the destination that they are aimed at. Well, as we discovered at Sheffield currently, there's not an awful lot to see. So I thought it might be useful if we came back here into the existing railway to be able to show something about what we're trying to achieve with the freight operation. Now, one of the things that has to be remembered about freight operation is that it happens in real time. However, the railway is running on computer time. And you've got an inevitable tension there. When the trains come into Sheffield, they will be either 24 wagons long, 21 wagons long, 15, 12, 9 or possibly 6. You may have noticed that there's the 3 times table there. And when you look at the wagons here, you will see that they are broken into units of 3. And there's a reason for that. As part of our design work for Sheffield, we undertook some time and motion studies, and a couple of the competent operators were set tasks about how long it would take to bring a train into the yard, to break individual wagons off, to put them in specific spaces and assemble the train. And we added up all the time and had a fright. It takes an awful long time to marshal wagons. And the compromise that we come to is to use wagons in strings of 3, so that our 24 wagon long train actually is 8. Our 21 wagon train becomes a 7 wagon train. Our 15 wagon train becomes a 5 wagon train. This lets us speed up the process of moving wagons around a yard.